Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with Netflix's Gray Man, starring Chris Evans, Ryan Gosling, Anna de Armas, Billy Bob Thornton, also Jessica Henwick, and also Rege-Jean Page, if I'm saying your name correctly. He's the guy from Bridgerton. And this movie is directed by the Russo Bros. And if anybody knows here on this channel or know me at all, you guys know that I'm a big fan of the Russo brothers. I think they're really great directors. I mean, hell, they brought us, Captain America Winter Soldier. They brought us Civil War, they brought us Endgame, and they brought us Infinity War. Some of the biggest movies in the MCU to date. But in this movie, I gotta say, when I saw the trailers for The Gray Man, I was not impressed at all. I was like, I can't believe this movie is directed by the Russo brothers. I was like, I don't know how they were able to make this movie. It just doesn't look like they directed this movie. It just doesn't look good. And I just really had no desire to see this movie because, one, I was really never, a fan of Ryan Gosling. I mean, I knew of Ryan Gosling, but I never, watched any of his movies because I just didn't see the hype over Ryan Gosling. And, I was like, I was definitely going to check out this movie. One, because the Russo brothers directed this movie. Two, because I'm a big fan of Anna de Armas. And, I'm a huge fan of Chris Evans. He is definitely one of my favorite actors. He's really high up there on my favorite actors list. So I was like, I gotta check out this movie. My sister watched this movie yesterday, and I was like, I was thinking I'll get around to it. Until my sister watched it yesterday, I was like, she's like, you need to check out this movie. I need to know your opinion. And I was like, I really have nothing else better to watch. I might as well watch it. So I finally watched it. I just got done watching it, and all I really have to say is that this movie literally was the definition of a dumpster fire. I really hated this movie. I was not a fan of this movie. I still couldn't believe the choices of how this movie was filmed and how this movie was, how the action sequences were shot and how the fight choreography was. I just was not impressed at all by this movie, especially, script-wise, storyline-wise of this movie and what the plot line of the movie is. I was just like, this movie just overall doesn't make any sense. It's way too action heavy just for action's sake. It's way too almost, Fast and the Furious meets James Bond meets, the movie Ambulance, filmed by Michael Bay, and I'll roll back around to why I say Ambulance, and you know what I mean, and how and all the shot choices and how the movie Ambulance was shot. So I was like, I really am just not liking this movie, and it's not like I don't like the Fast and the Furious movies. I mean, I'm not really what you get with the Fast and the Furious movies, especially the newer ones where it's like all they're they went from street racing to batshit crazy stuff. So it's like what you get with those movies, even though they're entertaining to watch, but even though they're just bad shit, and it's kind of like they went from point A to point B, and then you get the James Bond movies where what you're going to get with the James Bond movie, and then you go to, the Ambulance movie, which I've never seen Ambulance, but I know by the trailers that I could really compare a lot, of how this movie was shot to Ambulance, because Ambulance was shot in a certain way that I just knew I was not going to like when I saw the trailers for Ambulance, and I was not prepared to see the same shot choices and from Ambulance in this movie, The Gray Man. But literally, it's like if you took all of those three movies and then put them in a dumpster, and then you took them out of a dumpster, and then you get this movie. You get those three things and from a dumpster, and you get this movie. And it's like, that really annoyed me. I was not prepared to see the Russo bros do such a choice like this in the movie. Like, the movie, literally, the plot of this movie is that, there's this program called the SEER program, and and then this program, they're the Gray Men. They work outside the CIA, and of course we have Ryan Gosling's character called Six, and he is just pretty much this dude that got arrested when he was younger. And we don't really know why he's arrested and he's in prison. We don't really know why Billy Bob Thornton's character is going to see him in the beginning of this movie. But he's recruiting for people to work outside of the CIA called the Gray Men, and it's going to be called the SEER program. And and we get Ryan Gosling's character. He gets recruited. It jumps to 18 years later, and pretty much he's at this big, party out. I forget where it was. It was out at this location. and it's pretty much New Year's Eve, and he has to assassinate somebody, and it ends up being, he ends up finding out that actually this person he's going to assassinate is a part of the Seer program too, and he's also a gray man. And this dude, Ryan Gosling's character, aka Six, is going after. He ends up having information against I think his name is Carmichael, if I'm correct. Carmichael, which is played by Rege-Jean Page's character. And Carmichael, apparently, the other gray man had information on Carmichael's character saying that he was dirty. And in that motion, in that point, we get, Six's character ends up going on this journey, pretty much, off the grid, pretty much, realizing, oh my God, why are they going after, why are they making me kill members of the Gray Man program? Like, why are they making me do that? And pretty much he's trying to really, like, I would say kind of like, he's not really trying to figure it out. He's kind of just on the run with that information that one of the Gray Men had that he had to kill. And we just see him going throughout this movie pretty much, not trying to figure out why, Carmichael's dirty, really not trying to figure out why, people are killing all the other gray men, and pretty much, this unit is pretty much, it's pretty much at the edge of extinction. He's just on the run, and pretty much Carmichael knows that he has this information of pretty much, I think, of that a member of the Gray Men unit had information that he was dirty. That's why he kind of sent one of the members of the Gray Men after him, saying, "Oh, he's just a bad dude. I need you to take him out." And of course, we get Jessica Henwick's character that pretty much was vouching for Six's character, pretty much, saying, that, he can do this, and pretty much Carmichael was never for this, the Gray Men program, saying, this is outdated, they can't be doing this, I don't trust him. And of course, Jessica Henwick's character was like, oh, he knows how to do this, he's the right person for the job to do this, and pretty much, is vouching for him. And I was like, the events that happened in this movie is essentially because of the fact of Jessica Henwick's character pretty much, vouching for Six's character, Six going off the grid, pretty much, going against, the CIA and everything. And next thing you know, we have Carmichael's character hiring Chris Evans's character, which Chris Evans's character's name was what was it? It was Lloyd Henson, and Lloyd Henson works outside the CIA. He's more of like I would say like more of like a contract killer, on the fact of like the CIA works with them when they need someone to work outside of things, kind of like how the Gray Men unit works. And pretty much they're hiring Lloyd Henson to take out Six's character and get the information that Carmichael wants about him being dirty, but yet no one knows what is on that drive, except I'm pretty much Carmichael knows, on the fact that he, probably knew that he was a part of the Gray Man unit, that the guy that he wanted Six to take out. And it pretty much goes on this crazy ass, I guess you could say crazy ass adventure of Six pretty much being on the run from the CIA. And then, Carmichael hired, again, Lloyd's character, to pretty much hunt down Six's character to get the information that was on that necklace. And that was the entire movie, where, Lloyd is more, crazier to take on Six, and, to someone that really can hunt him down, to someone that's on the same level of being able to hunt someone like Six down, because Six is a trained killer, kind of like how Lloyd is. So it's like, to take down someone that's really skilled, you need to hire someone that's really skilled, and that's Chris Evans's character. And I was like, the only character in this movie, out of, Ana de Armas's character, where, she's only in it for, like, she's in it a lot of the movie, but she really doesn't get much to say, and you really don't know who she is, so it's like you really can't get attached to that character, which kind of annoys me, because I'm a big fan of Ana de Armas. She's really made a come up since, Knives Out, and then she was in the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, and, so she's also in this movie, so her acting career is really skyrocketing, and she's also in the new Netflix movie called Blonde, and she's playing Marilyn Monroe, and so her career is really skyrocketing, as it should be, because she's a really great actor. I really, really love her work. And, I was like, it sucks because she didn't really get much to do in this movie. I mean, you don't really know much about her, except, she only worked with Six on that one mission, which, like I said, to go back to that one mission, on New Year's Eve. That was just really outlandish. The fact that, he had a shot, but he couldn't do it because there was a casualty there. So he ended up, it was supposed to be like a distance, assassination, but he ended up, taking out a whole bunch of his guards and killing him in the middle of the, I guess you could say, party room of this New Year's Eve party. And the way it was like shot, like it was like literally shot, like the fight choreography, the fight sequence, the way it was shot, where it was like from a GoPro, drone. I hated it. It literally was bad. I did not expect from the Russo bros that they would use a GoPro drone to shoot a fight sequence, and it was just bad. The drone was flying all around the room. You really couldn't tell what was going on. And the scene where literally Ryan Gosling's character 6 was just stabbing people, I was like, I'm not buying it. That no one's telling the dude in front of him, oh, there's someone there, and no one's hearing him killing all these people. I just wasn't buying it. It was like the way they made Six's character. It was like they made him as a superhero. They made it so outlandish and made me feel like I was watching a Fast and the Furious film. But like I was disappointed because again, you know what you're getting from a Fast and Furious film. But I did not expect this kind of like direction from the Russo brothers, of a character that they kind of made, kind of like a 007, kind of like, a Dom Toretto on how like crazy things he was able to do in this movie without really getting hurt or not dying in this movie, the 6 character. And I was just like, I'm not buying it. They made him like almost like a superhero. And, we get a little bit of fight choreography from Ana de Armas' character in that moment, along with Six's character. But I was like, you really can't really tell what's going on. And it's like, I don't really care what's going on. And then we move that fight sequence to where all the fireworks are being let off, and he's fighting the other member of the SEER program, another gray man, but he doesn't know he's a gray man until he ends up killing him, which all that fight sequence was all shot from above. And there was so much smoke going on because they were fighting where all the fireworks were being let off. I was like, I can't even really see what's going on, and why is it being shot like this? So that was just really bad on that. A lot of the fight sequences where it was like filmed by literally a drone GoPro just flying around, and you really couldn't tell what was going on. Especially like the title cards. That was another thing I really didn't like about this movie, is that all the title cards just kept popping up out of nowhere. Like, when we get to a new location, the title card would pop up, but they would be like it would be a weird way the title card would pop up. It would be like through like they would shoot it from like a drone perspective, where a drone would come in to a location and a title card would pop up, or they would speed into a location and the title card would pop up. And that is a stamp of the Russo brothers, that they did a lot of that in the MCU, whether it be in Civil War. I'm pretty sure they did it also in Winter Soldier. I don't think they did it. They did it, of course, in Endgame. And I'm not quite sure if they did it in Infinity War, but they might have. But that is a stamp from the Russo bros, that they tend to do that when we get to a new location. But it happens so many times in this movie in so many different ways. I was like, I can't stand that happening. I was like, I'm not liking this. It's not a good choice to keep doing this. It was expected, and I was like, oh my god, this is just getting so annoying that so many title cards keep popping up in different ways, and it's just like, it's getting repetitive. I was like, I'm just not liking this choice, especially through them bringing up the title cards through like a drone GoPro shot. I was just, I'm not liking this. I don't really know why that was a really good choice that they chose to use for some of the camera work is drone shots. I just didn't understand why they had to do that, especially I feel like they should have learned after the movie Ambulance, when it wasn't really like, that really wasn't like well received from the audience about Ambulance, is that people didn't like all the GoPro shots from a drone. And it's like they did that in this movie. I don't know why they did it in this movie, but they did. But I just didn't like it, along with all the action sequences that I didn't like. I didn't like the action sequence where it's literally Ryan Gosling's character 6 running all throughout Prague, if I'm correct, because he had to see, I forget what, I'm trying to remember what her name was. He's trying to see the girl that he sent a necklace to that had all the information that Carmichael was bad. He sent it to Alfre Woodward, Margaret Cahill, which is I guess an old colleague of his, of Six's, and he sent that information to her, but she ends up dying because again, we have Lloyd Henson's character, which again is played by Chris Evans, that keeps sending all these assassins after Six's character while he has this necklace, and again, we don't really know why he's keeping this necklace, other than the fact he's not trying to do research on trying to take down Carmichael. So it's like this movie was pointless. He's just running around with the necklace, well, Chris Evans' character, Lloyd Henson, is just sending a whole bunch of assassins after him. And, trying to get the necklace back for Carmichael and trying to get the necklace back also for, Jessica Henwick's character, Suzanne, Brewer, I think that's her name, or Brower, which, the connection, between, Lloyd Henson's character and, again, Suzanne's character was very funny back and forth. They clearly don't like each other. They've worked with each other before. Suzanne doesn't like, Lloyd's character. Lloyd doesn't like Suzanne's character. And, again, none of this would have happened. Carmichael wouldn't even have to have sent in Lloyd if it wasn't for the fact that, Suzanne pretty much, vouching for Six's character. So none of this really would have happened of, all these people, dying and the fact of Lloyd sending in all these contract killers to take out Six. None of this would have happened if, again, she would have, had more of a leash on Six's character, on him not just, taking that information and going off and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, what, does she know that Carmichael is dirty? I'm not quite sure. The movie really never explains that. And at the end of this movie, when, we do have, Six does get captured, it's like he ends up escaping and, and they end up I think they do get the drive back, if I'm correct, or they don't get the drive back. But it's like Danny, which is played by Ana de Armas, and, Jessica Henwick's character, which is Suzanne, both went along with the cover-up, essentially, pretty much blaming, Chris Evans' character, Lloyd, about he's the one that that did all the bad shit, crazy things around whatever, and he just was off the leash, and they kind of, blamed everything on him. And they also blamed everything, I think, on Six's character, because Six was in prison by the end of this movie, but he ended up getting out, and he ended up pretty much trying to go get with Billy Bob Thornton's, I don't know if it was his daughter or if it was his niece, Fitzroy's daughter or niece, which is Claire, and pretty much, that's the only drive Six's character has, is that, for collateral of Six taking the necklace, and not taking it to Carmichael. Again, Carmichael hired Lloyd's character, and pretty much Lloyd uses Fitzroy's daughter or niece and Fitzroy to pretty much, because he knows that Six and Fitzroy are kind of like, son and father. So it's like, it was like a father to Six, Fitzroy. So that's why he knows that, if Lloyd knows if he takes, Fitzroy and Claire, that will bring out Six to want to, give back the necklace to Carmichael. Pretty much, but it's not only for the necklace to get the necklace back, but it's also to take out Six, because already Carmichael doesn't like the fact of the Gray Man program, and doesn't like of the fact of also, Six probably knowing what's on the drive and was lying to him about having the necklace. So it's like, we just go on this thing, and of course he's not doing any research, or he already knows what's on the necklace, but he's not going after Carmichael. So essentially he's just running around all these different locations with the necklace, while again Lloyd's going after him with all these contract killers. And it's like he has no really drive to I don't understand what the setup was of him killing another member of the Gray Man, and then him having the information about Carmichael being dirty. If this movie wasn't about stopping Carmichael, it was about just pretty much going to save Claire and going to save Fitzroy. Pretty much the only family he has. Pretty much the only family that, Claire has is Fitzroy and also Six. So it's like, this movie really essentially, I guess, was about family and wanting to go save family. Even though that's not what this movie was trying to set up. It was trying to set up the fact that someone was dirty, and someone that was dirty was working for the CIA and was pretty much, giving out these missions to go kill members of the Gray Man unit, which that's what I was gathering, because all the members of the Gray Man unit, Fitzroy was going to all their funerals, and the only one that was left was Six, and Fitzroy is retired. So pretty much, I was assuming Carmichael was sending out all these hits on Gray Men that no one knew were Gray Men except him. And since Fitzroy's out of the picture, it's like Fitzroy's not doing any research on trying to figure out why all of my members of the Gray Man unit keep dying. So it's like this movie just didn't make any sense. And that stupid sequence where it's like all these people, the moment where we do get him cornered and he ends up getting, taken by the police, he ends up there's a scene where it's in Prague where it's it's the police versus all the hitmen that Lloyd sent out to go capture and, to get the necklace from Six, and also to take out Six. There's like a big, shooting back and forth while Six is trapped to a bench. And no one, all these bullets are flying, but nothing is hitting Six. And then the moment where Six is literally, like I said, trapped to the bench with handcuffs, he ends up getting away, and there ends up being a big sequence where he ends up getting on this train, like all throughout Prague, or if I'm correct, and the train is literally like, everybody's shooting at this train with like bullets and rocket launchers and a whole bunch of different things. It's not going off the tracks and slamming through buildings, and he's running on top of the train, and he ends up jumping off the train onto Anna de Armas's car, on Danny's car. Which, again, I don't know why Danny's even a part of all this, because, again, she doesn't know why she's helping out Six. She didn't see the drive. So it's like, what the hell is going on? And it's like, again, she should be in it to take out Carmichael, and that should be Six's goal, but that's not Six's goal. It's just him running around until he realizes, oh my god, Lloyd has the only one I can really call a father, and are killing my only family that I really have, and he ends up going after them. So it's like, I really didn't understand the point of this movie. It was just like a movie that just didn't make any sense, and was just like filling out all the tropes of different things. But like if the tropes of those different things were like left in the dumpster and got out of a dumpster, and that's what this movie was. It just really was not a good movie. And the only actor that the only character I really enjoyed seeing on screen was Chris Evans' character, even though he was playing a bad guy. He was a better character. You know what I mean? I really kind of like wanted to see more of that character. I didn't really care about Six's character. I didn't really care about Danny's character, because they didn't give Anna de Armas's character enough, information, and enough to do in this movie. Along with, they didn't give Jessica Henwick's character, Suzanne's character, a lot to deal with. Besides, all of this kind of happened because of her, and yet she went along with the fact of making it sound like it was Lloyd. Even though Lloyd was the one that was sent out by Carmichael to take out Six. He was hired because of Suzanne's mess up on vouching for Six, and Six going off the grid, having all the information. So it's like, again, Suzanne's the one at the end of this movie that kills Lloyd, because he was going off the rails trying to fix her mess. So I was like, this movie just isn't making any sense, and yet she still goes along with the fact that, I don't know if she knows that Carmichael's dirty or doesn't, or she doesn't know that Carmichael's dirty, but it's like, what was the point of this movie? You know what I mean? It's like, there was no really like satisfying ending to this movie. There was no like, this is how the movie starts with the plot line, and okay, this makes sense that this movie would end this way. It just didn't make any sense. I was pissed when Lloyd's character died. I was like, it makes more sense for his character and Carmichael's character, because they want to get back this information off of someone that's going off the grid that should have gave this information back. But it makes sense that, it would make sense that Lloyd wouldn't know about Carmichael being, dirty. And it would make sense that, if Six's character knows that Carmichael's dirty, he would want to go after Carmichael to prove that he is dirty in the CIA. And it would make sense if Lloyd's character found out that he was dirty, he would work with Six's character. You see what I mean? It would make more sense that way. But even though, again, Lloyd wasn't even in the CIA, so he probably wouldn't care who was dirty. He just cares about who's paying him. So it makes sense that he would go after him, because, again, he's being paid by Carmichael to go after somebody. He doesn't care what's the reason is. But it would have been interesting if Six's character would have explained, saying, okay, Carmichael's dirty. He made me kill another member of my unit. I didn't even know he was a part of my unit. And, he's taking out all the members of the Greyman unit. And, you know what I mean? I could pay you more if you help me, if you help me prove that he's dirty. That would have spiced up the story a lot more. And it would have been interesting if they told, Jessica Henwick's character that Carmichael was dirty, if she didn't know that he was dirty, because she wouldn't be, she wouldn't be still working with him, and she wouldn't be also covering up, everything that happened if she knew that Carmichael was dirty, if Six would have told her. And, if Six would have just told people that he was dirty and showed them the information. You know what I mean? I just feel like there should have been more, plot lines really there should have been more plot points really driving this movie, instead of just, a big chase throughout this entire movie for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, what, like, I mean, like, you could do it where, I just don't understand the point of this movie, where it's like, he has the necklace, finds out, someone's dirty and someone's killing his unit, but yet he's not doing anything with that information, and he's only doing something in the movie. He stops running when he finds out that the person that hired, the person that is hired to go after his character, he's only interested in going after the one that got hired to take him out because he has members of his family. It's just, I don't see how that's a good. It just feels like a lazy plot line. And I'm really curious down in the comments below what you guys think about this movie. Do you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from in this movie? It just felt like it just felt like nothing but like bad shit crazy action that felt like a lot of the newer Fast and the Furious movies, that felt like a lot of, nonsensical plot lines, which felt like, again, like it just felt like that they got this script out of a dumpster. That's like if we had Fast and Furious, if we had James Bond, and if we had the ambulance movie all rolled into one, and someone said, you know what, this is actually a bad idea, I don't know why we wanted to do this big crossover, threw it in the dumpster, and the Russo brothers found it, and then they made this movie. It feels like that's what this movie is. And I wasn't satisfied at the end of this movie when Lloyd's character died by Suzanne's character, even though, again, Lloyd was just hired for a job. Yeah, he didn't care, who was a casualty. But again, it happened because of Suzanne, about her having faith in Six's character. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for Suzanne. And that's facts. Again, Lloyd, you can't blame Lloyd for not caring about people and him being outside the CIA and one of the CIA members hiring him to fix Suzanne's mistake. Again, Lloyd is a bad dude, but again, Chris Evans' character Lloyd was more entertaining to one be interested in and want to follow that character more than Six's character. I feel like there was just more layers and more there with Lloyd's character than there was with Six's character. I just didn't care enough about Six's character. So it's like, I don't know, guys. This movie, especially as my first movie, my first movie seeing, Ryan Gosling at work, like this is my first ever movie of seeing how good Ryan Gosling is as an actor. And I'm not, like I said, like I understand why I never really checked him out before, because I really don't think he's all that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not really impressed with his acting in this movie. Yet again, it could have just been, I think it could have been a bad script, or it could have been just that he's not that much of a good actor. I don't know. People want him to be in the MCU. I kind of don't want that. Maybe I need to see some other projects that he's been in before I say I don't want him in the MCU. But honestly, I'm just disappointed. There was a really stacked cast here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe, again, if the script was better, I would like Ryan Gosling's performance. Maybe, you know what I mean? Because we have, not just Ryan Gosling that's up there in the acting industry, but we have, again, Ana de Armas that's making her way up in the acting industry. We have, again, Jessica Henwick that's making her way up in the acting industry ever since, she was in Matrix. I would say that's really shooting her career, where she would get, something like this, to be in a movie like this with a with directors like the Russo brothers, and a movie like with Chris Evans and everybody like that. So it's like, this has a really stacked cast, along with, again, the I don't want to say his name wrong, but Rege-Jean Page, if that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but this is a pretty damn stacked cast. But yet, and especially like these are really good directors, but just this movie was just really directed poorly. I don't know if Netflix maybe was involved and was tampering with this movie. That's why this movie was bad. But I highly doubt Netflix would have tampered with this movie, not only for the fact of how popular these directors are, because again, everybody wants to work with the Russo brothers, because again, they did some of the best movies, if not the best movies in the MCU. I think the best movies in the MCU. But I highly doubt Netflix would have tampered with this movie. And if that's the case, the Russo brothers really made a bad movie, and I'm gonna have to hold that against them. I'm gonna have to make, I never thought that they would have an L when it comes to directing, but this is their first L, I would say, in their directing portfolio. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a little worried if they do come back for Secret Wars, to direct Secret Wars, because that's one of the next big MCU movies that's coming up is Avengers: Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty. So it's like we already have Destin Daniel Cretton doing the Kang Dynasty, but the Russo brothers really wanted to come back to do Secret Wars, because that's the project that's their dream project, is to film and direct Secret Wars, which kind of concerns me after seeing this movie. So I don't know. Maybe it's like maybe that they're just so, because again, this movie felt like an outlandish Fast and the Furious superhero movie. It felt like we were in the Fast and the Furious world for what Six was going through, and he wasn't dying or getting hurt. Like, pretty much, he wasn't dying. He was doing crazy shit in this movie and was not dying. Like, any other person would have really struggled, you know what I mean, doing these things. I don't know. I wasn't buying it. Just like what was going on in this movie. And I'm really curious to know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this movie. Did you guys like this movie? Do you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from about this movie, on how I didn't like it and kind of this plot didn't make sense? How it started out kind of making sense with him realizing, oh my god, I just killed, like, I was assigned to take out a member of the Gray Man program. I didn't know he was a part of that, and he gave me information that someone in the CIA was dirty, someone that's hunted, that made me that assigned me to take you out because you knew that he was dirty. Like, it should have went somewhere with that, but it went nowhere with that. He just had that necklace the entire time for no reason. Not to exploit Carmichael. He only did something when he found out Lloyd had members of his family. That's pretty much it, and that made no sense to me. I'm like, wow, this movie's just action for the sake of action, and bad action at that. The choreography, like I said, was bad. The drone shots, the GoPro drone shots were bad, and just the dialogue was bad. Like, Six said dialogue, just one-lining dialogue, or one-liners, and then just would keep hanging up the phone and shit like that. It made no sense. Like, it was just all around bad. And again, this probably isn't the best movie for me to see. My first debut of watching Ryan Gosling as an actor. Which, again, let me know down in the comments below. Like, does this movie resemble how his acting is, or is he actually a good actor and I need to watch another movie? I'm really curious to know down in the comments below. I'm just not a fan of him as an actor. Again, I've never watched a Ryan Gosling movie. This was my first one, and I gotta say I'm not impressed with his acting. I do think Chris Evans stole the show in this movie. I think he did. And honestly, I wish I would have saw more of his character. And it kind of bummed me out when he did die at the end. And I was rooting for his character at the end to kick Six's ass. I was like, kill this dude. Like, that, and you shouldn't be rooting for, again, Chris Evans' character Lloyd. You should be rooting for Ryan Gosling's character Six, but I wasn't. The entire time I was rooting for Lloyd and the CIA. Even though, again, I guess the Carmichael dude was dirty, because that's what we specified in the beginning of this movie, but I was still rooting for Carmichael's team, which you could say Lloyd and Carmichael are all on the same team, because, you know what I mean, Carmichael hired Lloyd as a contract killer to take out, again, Six. So you could say they're one unit. Along with Suzanne, even though I don't know why she killed Lloyd at the end, because, again, she's the reason that all this shit went south, but it is what it is. But yeah, guys, honestly, I'm really curious to know down in the comments below what you guys think about this movie. Do you guys hold this movie against the Russo brothers? Were you guys shocked were you guys shocked when you saw how bad this movie was, that it was directed by the Russo brothers after they've done such a great job in the MCU? Also, do you guys hold this against the Russo brothers? Are you guys a little bit concerned for whatever projects come next from the Russo brothers? Will you guys be a little bit concerned about what they do next, going into their next project? Also, yeah, again, here, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I'd love to have you guys here, part of the fam, part of the channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. Yet again, guys, we're almost to 600 subscribers. Right now, we're at 424, if I'm correct, or 422. I can't remember. I think that's where we're at. We're almost to 600 subscribers, and that is where I'm really trying to get to, 600. So we really, yet again, appreciate it if you guys subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, and like this video. But yeah, guys, honestly, that was a video, and I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.